Hello and welcome to Williamson's. We are here in week 9. This is U2000. Just had to check one thing. U2000 Challenger Trophy. So the challenger from week 8 is Adsi from Latvia, and he's taking on U.S. Shepherd, who's the challenger from this week. Very similar scores, exact same faction. And this map, a classic. Favorite of many players. Fortunately, hasn't been on the ladder for too long. And they're going to take on Iridium Blows. Of course, Iridium Blows didn't get challenged last week because the game against Atsi didn't happen. But hopefully that happens very soon. And I guess while the two players start, quickly looking at land, there's a number of things I wanted to mention. So it looks like first land, 3 PGens. One thing about this map, though, the max character is really far away, so you really got to move your ACU. That's most likely one of the reasons that people don't like to put it on the ladder. People are really screw up right away. But it looks like second land from Atsi. A couple engineers. There is a couple of rocks. And it looks like a mech marine from U.S. Shepherd. So Latvia versus Germany. I believe I mentioned Latvia, but not Germany here. And of course, Iridium is from the United States. That's U2000. So I think people have mentioned they would like a lower division, but I'd like to say that U1700, there is a challenger, one challenger for the Tempest this week. There were a challenger from last week didn't show up. So I think if you want to play in this journey, go ahead and sign up for U1700. And I mean, the players there are pretty average players. And if people want something lower, they can go ahead and make it. We will definitely mention it. You can even make it part of WWPC. And here, this is important: a mech marine versus tank. Tank plays good defense. You can promote it and put it on the website, whatever. But I think now with 3 different groups, it'll be a little too much to chase down all these different players. But a really great news about from Commander Forge Alliance is a whole bunch of new casters. And one caster definitely want to mention is Zlo, is actually casting. He's doing both Russian and English. And of course, that's probably the greatest resource for learning the game. He has played since probably the very beginning, and he has beaten all the best players. He was always in the top 5, top 10 on the GPG net ladder. And now he's most likely going to be there pretty soon as well on FAF. And he's actually showing first person gameplay where he's playing, showing how he does it. So in terms of learning the game, that's probably the greatest resource you could have. Definitely check out his channel. And if you're wondering where all the channels are, go on the main page of this channel. They're all on the right side listed. Of course, See the Who, Zafford X. There's a whole bunch of new casters, which is awesome. It means I get to play maybe a little bit at cast. So it appears the ACU for Shepherd is moving on the left side. He's also got an engineer going to the top. This tank needs to, he's already got 2 kills, he's playing good defense, needs to move up and protect. This should be an engineer fight. Quite a few tanks going through the top for Adsi. So it looks like Adsi is going to take over the top, while Shepherd is going to take the bottom, while Adsi's ACU is going straight up the middle, which is a straight path between the 2 bases. It's always a good idea. Of course, it does kind of isolate them because you can't jump off the cliff. It looks like this engineer just runs past Adsi's engineer. It looks like this is going to be a failure. We do see a response from Adsi. It looks like Adsi will take care of the situation. And of course, O2000, if everything goes right, this week will be the first time we'll have an O2000 tourney. Some very good players. First game will be a best of 3 between Crazed and Chosen. Of course, those players do not need any introduction. This will be very important if Senji dies before we finish the point defense. It's a great victory there for Shepherd. Shepherd really taking over the bottom. He's got a couple of mass points he just needs to grab. Has some problems up on the top, but he should be able to defend. But really the big issue for him is this ACU going through the middle. We already see a point defense going up for Shepherd. Meanwhile, Shepherd pushing up with his ACU. He just needs more engineers. He's got to take advantage, and it looks like Shepherd chased away a couple tanks on top, and that's going to move back down. So, first game, Chosen versus Crazed. And then the other one, equally awesome players, we got Congreve versus DCC. The winner of those will play for the first U2000 championship. And of course, all games are best of threes on Williamson, which we see now, open palms, which you're going to see next, and open water, which we might see if it's necessary. Point defense is completed, but is not in time. Got killed right away, and Atsi is right now walking directly into Shepard's base. So this would not be that big of a deal for Shepard if he would have built a better base in this position, because right now all of his power is concentrated in one place. Up on top, we see multiple point defenses now for Atsi, so he's in much better shape to fight off the ACU. Still causing some damage, but pretty much an intact base, unlike what Shepard has to deal with here. Nice already taking out the tanks. So Atsi alone with his ACU taking on an entire base, doing the right thing, targeting power. Meanwhile, Shepard fighting point defense. Actually, this might be the time to do the split screen. Who can cause more damage? And lack of point defense is really going to hurt Atsi here. And game sound might be really loud. I'm actually going to not take risks. I'll just turn that down. One thing that Shepard has had a nice group of units here up on top. Actually, I'll get rid of this. It's too distracting. Shepard actually was in better shape, I think, in different places on the map, except at his base. And if he had a couple of arties, which would have been really helpful taking out these point defenses, looks like he made it all the way to the outside. That was going to kill power. So Atsi is in danger of losing all of his power, and Shepard's nearly lost all of his power. And this is where these engineers, yep, they're going to get on it now. Shepard needs to get his power production going somewhere. And so is Atsi. So who's going to get off-site power production? Atsi, though, now going quite low on health. He is taking on a significant force. Atsi putting a whole bunch of emergency troops in support of the ACU. They're all running in. At this point, defense is still alive and more power being built. So now if we compare here, minute 7, Atsi, still about 100 power. Shepard, also about 100, but both players definitely not in excess power. Yeah, this is going to need a couple more land factories. Shepard basically has total control over the bottom. His base is in the process of dying. He needs more factories. He's doing that now. And up on top, Shepard could definitely, still has this single tank. Can kill off all these engineers, because these engineers are very valuable for Atsi. And now Atsi with unit support looks like he's going to wipe out mass extractors and these factories here shortly. While Atsi's factory is still in pretty good shape, Shepard in this position. One thing you got to realize about Commander Forge Alliance, it takes a long time to kill factories, unless you bring artillery, which it still takes quite a long time. Much longer than it takes to kill land units. So single artillery from Shepard would have really helped him. He would have probably wiped out this whole base. Now it looks like Shepard is turned back. He's going to run back and try to kill Atsi. Atsi now looks like he's going to probably be in position to rebuild. Shepard rebuilding a new base. Probably should have done this a long time ago. And this tank right here, very disappointing. Could be killing. This tank could have killed this whole top area. And a point defense for Shepard. And now Atsi with 47 kills. He's going to have a brand new base. He can construct in a significant force and support. So the fact that Atsi has had these 5 land factories this entire game has really helped him, and it looks like Shepard has realized he's screwed. I don't think he's completely out of it. I've seen many great comebacks on this map. I mean, this is still a significant base. Of course, on top, I think the fact that Shepard didn't take the advantage and taking over the top is going to put him at a big disadvantage. Shepard now full health, 47 kills, is going to run in. Atsi 49 kills, about half health. Now Shepard is going to take a pretty large force. And a lot of reclaim here for Atsi. The GG, of course, has already been called. Sometimes those are premature. And this is ridiculous. 1 NG versus 2 is going to win. It's a bit of lack of concentration here for Shepard. I think he was in a very good position here at times that he really didn't take advantage of. One thing that Atsi did have over him were the point defenses. Another point defense here. Finally, some artillery from Shepard. point defense is denied. Shepard 51 kills. And actually Shepard here, if he denies his point defense, he might actually get a draw. He does have a nice flow of units coming in. It really will come down to Micro here at the end. Multiple point defenses, 6 kills on one of them. Actually a pretty good position from Shepard. But more reinforcements coming in for Adsi. Adsi's still trying to get this point defense finish. He's going to do it. And that's likely going to seal the game here for Shepard. Yeah, that's really going to make the huge difference. A lot of damage per second on this unit. And here, a little bit after minute 11, it appears that in the battle of the challengers here, U2000, Adsi is going to take the lead, and we're going to go to Open Palms next. Hello and welcome to Game 2 of this best of 3 between Adsi and Shepard. Of course, Adsi is 1 game up with that victory on Williamson. Looks like they're still both EEF. Shepard going first land. It's a great map for really any faction. Classic map. And let's see what happens. One other thing I wanted to mention is big thank you to FFF MMM for making Hotstat export data, and at this point it's exported as an ASCII, which is just awesome. Except there's still a few things about the actual sampling rate. It's only per second. If you imagine if you sample data from this game per second, there are some things that go missing. But it's already pretty good, so once I have some time, I will try to... Oh, this is a big land spam from Adsi. This Shepard in the past has been known to not like spammy maps, and this is going to be a spam. So you might not like this. Looks like a bunch of engineers. So, no air factory. Well, actually, no, an air factory here for Adsi. Also looks like second air from Shepard. So both players choosing to go to the Hydra. Nobody just stayed put and got a quick second air. Let's see if that works out better. Looks like Adsi just a little quicker to get the Hydra. Both players now working on their second. Actually, no, Adsi already finished with the second air and getting third land. So Adsi slightly ahead. We haven't seen any rating. One rating opportunity here for Shepard going to the top. This engineer is under protection of a tank. And Adsi doing the unusual, taking his ACU to the top. Usually ACU is taken to the bottom. And a bomber now from Adsi. Looks like on a direct path toward Shepard's base. Shepard using his ACU as an engineer, getting more land factories. So a little quicker expansion with these engineers for Shepard, and that was the first bomb. Good defense, intercepted first. And it looks like that almost killed an engineer. It's a good defense from Shepard here early on. Pausing his air factory. Perhaps some power problems. He is getting a bomber next. We already see an interceptor for Adsi, and up on top, this engineer's got to be very careful. It is under protection of a tank, but a tank and a scout coming in. And another, this is a great potential raid here from Shepard, leading with a scout, although this tank here for Adsi should be able to protect that engine, but just killing off this mass extractor will already be a good thing. And here we're going to see this hero tank protect his engineer. Huge difference. Looks like the two ACUs are going to meet each other on the right side. Another raiding group, 2 tanks are going to come in and might take out this engineer. We do see a response from Shepard, but at this point it looks like this engineer is going to die. He's trying to run away. It's always a good idea, but looks like it's going to be chased. Didn't run away far enough, so we need to get more engineers. No engineering here in this position for Shepard. Shepard, multiple bombers. 2 ACUs should be able to meet each other, but Adsi very much... this is a lot of aggression from Adsi. Also sending some units in this position. A bomber for Shepard should be able to get good scouting information. And this will be a great raid from Shepard. There's absolutely no protection for anything here. Great opportunity. Looks like that mech marine didn't kill the mass extractor and eventually didn't do much more. Unfortunate for Shepard. Shepard with a significant force here on the left side, but a force from Adsi straight up the middle. Reminiscent of the way Iridium blows plays. And you don't want to stop, especially Cybern. Very quick, they run across the map and then start killing. Nice power spam from Shepard. At this point, looks very nice for Shepard, although this land spam is beginning to increase. And here you see 2 engineers on power, a whole bunch of engineers on land factories, which could be a problem because you don't want to spend all your mass in land factories. You want to let your spam have some of that mass. And once again, Shepard units in great position, just like in Williamson, but not doing what they can. Oh, this could be a great attack here from Atsy. Absolutely unprotected position for Shepard. And Atsy running in here. Might get behind Shepard's base. Shepard in very similar position is running past. He needs to keep running. Retreats with some other units. Good move. These tanks, tragic. They need to start killing. Of course, when you got multiple positions. I was reading an interview with Chris Taylor about Wildman. He was saying games with multiple battlefields are not marketable or something. I mean, that's why they should basically not make RTS anymore. I'm paraphrasing and making it a little more cynical, but that's basically what he said. People can't play, and that's when he was talking about Planetary Annihilation. It was a comment on Planetary Annihilation that it's a game that has too many battlefields, which actually makes me feel pretty good about Planetary Annihilation. Hopefully it does really well. He'll realize his folly. Let's see what's going on here. It looks like Shepard here still in a very good position. Actually, both players in a good position, but Shepard finally, these tanks get the order. Yeah, they could have wiped out all those mass extractors. That's like a minute, and that's like 8 or 7 mass extractors. And that's a huge chunk of eco for Adsy. I think Shepard may have actually been in a much better economy shape if he took care of it. Also some drops from Shepard. So besides that early air situation, that bomber, there hasn't been too much air at all, but now it looks like Shepard is going to take the sides. Looks like the land span has been completed, at least the factories. Now it's just going to be all tanks. And now victory up on top for Atsy. Atsy nearly complete with Tech 2. Tech 2 on the ACU, a Tech 2 PD creep is a possibility. And Atsy here running past Shepard's defense on multiple fronts. So he's getting behind his base. Always annoying, but it looks like Shepard here might be in position to get a victory. This is good position of units. You want to attack from the thin side. You don't want to attack head on. Maximizing damage per second, and it looks like Atsy is going to retreat and regroup with a larger force. Also force through the middle for Atsy. Shepard is going to respawn. He doesn't want to just leave those units to die. And actually Shepard with Tech 2-point defenses of his own, so both players here on the right side, here in 11, Tech 2-point defenses, and it looks like a cruise missile launcher for Shepard. That should be interesting. There are a whole bunch of Tech 2 mass extractors. That would be great targets, also Tech 2 mass extractors for Shepard, but a couple more for Atsy, and you could really make things difficult for Atsy if you take all those out, because I don't believe he's got TMD in this position. JC would have to move over a little bit to get TMD that would be able to defend. But looks like on the left side, the spam for Atsy beginning to take over. Looks like numbers. He needs Shepard needs reinforcements. We do see Tech 2 land now for Atsy, so Atsy really moving through the techs. Once again, an engineer here before Shepard is sitting there taking that mass extractor. And cruise missiles are beginning to fly. Shepard now. The Tech 2-point defense. And the Tech 2-point defense creep for Shepard. Shepard's going to get another Tech 2-point defense. But under heavy fire, this cruise missile now with 1 kill. And it looks like he's going to get 2. So this is a significant thing that Atsy has just lost. 2 Tech 2 mass extractors, maybe he'll lose another. But Shepard is in danger of losing this position. And it's really, his base on the left side is in shatters, and on the right side there's still a group of units ready to start killing. But of course those 3 cruise missiles taking out 3 Tech 2 mass extractors. Shepard, a whole bunch of units come in to try to help out, but he has lost the Tech 2-point defense creep war. Not that big deal, just retreat. You didn't lose too much eco. The big problem, of course, is the left side. Now there's a Tech 2 force, also some Tech 2 engineers moving on the left side. So Atsy beginning to take over map control. Literally, Shepard is resigned to his main base here. Everything has basically been lost for him. And this engineer needs to get on it. Yeah, now with the pillars on the field, this will be very difficult. Tech 1-point defenses. And once again, if it's not a... Yeah. So Shepard going for the piano. The ghetto snipe. It's very important that it's secret to see a whole bunch of McMarines. So he's going to be assembling the ghettos. We are seeing just Tech 2-point defenses. And there's a whole bunch of interceptors. Those should be able to save ADSI. There's quite a few interceptors as well for Shepard. Shepard now playing defense, actually taking on a whole bunch of Tech 2-point defenses going up for Shepard. Shepard now being targeted. Shepard needs to take his pianos into the field and try to go for the kill. Let's see if this happens. I don't see any flag, which could be a problem. Triple piano here. ADSI is going to start losing health very quickly. Actually, Shepard not in danger here at all. As you can see, that's a lot of interceptors. Oh, it's so close. Under 3,000 health, but just too many interceptors for Shepard. Shepard realized that was his last chance. That was in the towel. Of course, Shepard is known for pulling out games with those pianos. So ADSI wins the Battle of the Challengers and is going to get to play Iridium Blows. Hello and welcome to the U2000 final for week 9. We got ADSI versus Iridium Blows. Of course, Iridium Blows going for his 5th defense in a row. He is now at 2,061. If he gets to 2,100 global rating, he is going to have to leave this title, the U2000 title, and he will become the challenger for O2000 for that week. If O2000 exists, if it doesn't exist, then Iridium will automatically be the O2000 champion to be challenged. So let's see what happens in this one. ADSI, of course, just beat Shepard in 2 games. Really well played by him. Going with Seraphim this time. So Seraphim versus Iridium's Cybern. Iridium just running up the middle. This is very unusual for the 1v1. It's a standard build on Settons when you play as a team. You usually get a couple more PGens and things like that, but very dangerous thing to do when it's just 1v1. So definitely trying to take over the middle. See if he goes for a point defense or anything like that. ADSI, looks like he got 2 mask structures, 2 PGens, then to the middle. 1 engineer is on a power spam right away. That's a good idea. So definitely like ADSI's approach here a little better, unless Iridium can make this pay off. Of course, Iridium last 2 defenses always lost the first game, which of course this map was chosen by ADSI, but then came back in the last 2 when he chose the map. Iridium is known for his extremely good spam, so on maps that require a lot of land spamming Tech 1 play, he is very difficult to beat. And here ADSI with a couple RDs together with ACU. He must have seen the score, so realizing he is going to have to challenge the middle. And looks like these 2 RDs they're exactly to counter point defense, which he's anticipating, which is definitely a likely scenario. Iridium now getting some mass, and he's going to go for a point defense. He's going to have to kill those RDs to defend that point defense. So that'll be an interesting piece of play. Looks like Air Factory second for ADSI already has a whole bunch of power. And a big land spam for ADSI planned. We're not seeing anything except the first land. Finally, a second land for Iridium. So Iridium is low behind. Iridium did get that point defense done, and now he's going to push. He's got to really push against ADSI to deny these RDs, and he's playing this perfectly at this point. He just wants to avoid getting hit by artillery needlessly, and he needs to kill. So 1 RD is down. He needs to kill the other ADSI in bad shape here. So far everything's working out for Iridium. And it's really the fact that he got to the middle so much quicker. Iridium needs to continue to dodge this RD, eventually try to take it out. And if you're ADSI, you need to just come through the water, avoid the ACU, and kill the point defense from a different direction. It looks like he just got out of the range of the ACU. Just want to get away from the ACU, kill the point defense. But now that's probably going to be no longer a possibility. Once that Mantis gets into position to defend his backside. ADSI now moving over. He's going to get quite a bit of mass here. out of range in this point defense, but Iridium definitely quite a bit more. Iridium's still in quite a bit of trouble in terms of, actually his base is not beginning to look much better. No air yet. We do see a bomber for ADSI. ADSI not getting land as well, but definitely a lot more land factories for Iridium. Quite a few Tech 2 mass for ADSI, which could be a mistake. He has really invested into Eco much more heavy than Iridium. And ADSI quite low on health now. The middle is not completely belongs to Iridium. We'll slow this down. This RD is still survive. It looks like it will probably be a little late. Yep, it's just gonna die. So excellent play for Iridium, but he's still in a bit of trouble because a lot better eco for ADSI. But now huge for this time in the game here, actually minute 6, not that huge, but a good sized force for ADSI. They're seeing a bunch of land factories for ADSI, actually a force for Iridium, a force for ADSI to deal with. And a bomber now for ADSI moving to the other side. There's another bomber on this side, denied an expanding engineer, excellent bomber. So ADSI is in very good shape. He just needs to defend against this land spam. He can deny these expanding engineers and expand on his own, and he hasn't really lost anything. I really think his Tech 2 mass extractor upgrades could be a mistake because this flow of units from Iridium is going to continue to get bigger and bigger. Iridium is now with a point defense and black in the middle just in case. ADSI getting an upgrade. It is going to be Tech 2. And this is very good from Iridium. He snuck in a bunch of Manti on either direction, so this is going to be denying these expanding engineer. Also some scouts, but a factory has already been completed here on the rock spot. Iridium blows continues to get more units to the middle, but now the land spam for ADSI also getting quite large. But it looks like numbers for Iridium. Iridium is going to win this battle. Some Tech 1 point defenses could be a good idea for ADSI, otherwise he's in danger of getting ran over. Tech 2 now for ADSI on his ACU. Let's see what he does with that. And this bomber now with 4 kills, denying all these expanding engineers. Iridium blows absolutely no air. That has been a problem. More land factories for Iridium, so another kill here for ADSI. Great use of air for ADSI. It'd be nice to see some drops. Looks like this bomber denied that Mantis. Now this Mantis on a loose killing expanding engineers. But in the middle, those Manti did a good job. Emergency point defenses for ADSI here, minute 8. Iridium is going to try to avoid those. There are some RDs here for Iridium, so if he wants to micro a little bit, he could probably kill those. So Cybern artillery has been buffed in the last patch. It's actually able to kill point defenses in a decent amount of time. But Iridium is just trying to go around those point defenses. So many Tech 2 mass extractors in the middle for ADSI. Excellent eco. We don't see any Tech 2 point defenses for Iridium. They're all the mass is now tanks. This artillery now gets countered by an RD. 13 kills on point defense instead of point defense. No kills yet, now 1. And looks like these Manti forces can get around. They're going to start denying expansion. These bombers, I think, really have kept ADSI in the game. If Iridium was allowed to expand inside the base, he'd have so much better eco. But he hasn't been able to do that. Another wave of units. Base point defense is now 18 kills, 11 kills. Really doing a good job for ADSI. ADSI now putting out a fire on his rock spot. His beach has been completely lost. These Manti need to get on, need to just spread out and cause all kinds of problems. Otherwise, if they're bunched up, this bomber is going to do a good job. ADSI is in the middle. He's got the gun and Tech 2, but still sitting in the water. Probably could do a significant amount of damage. Yeah, these Manti are now on the run. We kill a couple of these engineers. Another wave of units from Iridium. 25 kills with 14 on the other. Not enough RD. And now ADSI's ACU gets out of the water. It's going to do some damage in actually 11 minutes if Iridium want to go Tech 2 air really quick or get some Oh, this is excellent. Engineers working on walls. Oh, wow. Nancy thought he was safe. Oh, wow. Iridium blows with an excellent move at the end. Adsy did not need to die in that position, but came out. Some engineers were sitting right next to ACU. They built walls in front of Adsy's ACU, so great awareness from Iridium blows. I think he really stole this one because the economy for Adsy was significantly better. He also, Iridium had big problems expanding because of these bombers, 5 kills on one, 7 on the other. Absolutely no air all game, and at 12 minutes, Iridium steals this first one. And let's see, it'll be very difficult for Adsy to kill Iridium 2 times in a row on maps that Iridium will choose. Hello and welcome to Hard FFA. This is game 2 of the U2000 best of 3 final, where Iridium Blows is defending his championship, choosing to play on the most hated map. Of course, it is still valid since it is on the ladder. Both players choosing UEF. That's because, of course, the map has to be told in the lobby, so both players realized they have to pick UEF. Let's see. Looks like they're both nearly identical on their drone upgrade. UEF has a huge advantage here. And let's see what the drones do. That's the first move. Iridium Blows, of course, had that excellent game against Lame God. And it looks like Iridium is going to follow Adsy. The drone goes in the opposite direction. The drone for Adsy is going to try to get a land factory in this position. Adsy thinking about turning around and is going to walk somewhere else. Iridium Blows. And Adsy now is going to change his mind and move back. So Iridium has confused Adsy enough to make him change his mind a couple times here. So a map that's ridiculously hard to play. It looks like Adsy has changed the position of where he's going to start his land factory. We can see the drone for Iridium quite a bit ahead of the drone for Adsy. Also better position, very close to the 2 hydros. So far looks like Iridium is winning. Both ACUs now on land. Adsy looks like he's just going to follow Iridium. No, looks like now they're going to separate, and they're going to have bases really close to each other. Iridium, of course, really close, of course, to Adsy's base. And this drone here from Iridium, much better drone than the one for Adsy, nearly completed with a land factory, also much better position. Iridium is in a good position to grab a lot of the map. Looks like Iridium has changed his mind. He's going to move back. Adsy beginning a land factory. So a lot of very strange things happen on this map. Now it looks like Iridium is just going to go ahead and reclaim this factory. That's a very annoying thing about having 2 ACUs spawn right next to each other. These 2 ACUs are just going to do random things trying to trick. Whoever builds gets to feed the other player mass. That's really the... looks like Adsy is not paying attention. His drone flies away. He did finish a land factory, now some engineers. So you already see some power production for Iridium. Of course, that's critical. And Iridium gets a nice chunk of reclaim. His drone is now revealed where it is to Iridium. And I'd love to see Iridium use his drone here instead of making power, fly somewhere else or grab another base. Or go to the middle and grab those mass extractors. Looks like now Adsy's going to chase Iridium. Very frustrating map. And the drone for Adsy is just sort of hanging out. And of course, one bad thing about investing in that early factory and getting it reclaimed, you've lost a lot of very early economy. And you've just handed it over to the other player. For example, power. Finally, power production for Adsy. Now Iridium, with these 4 power generators, is way ahead. So if you haven't thought about what you're going to do on this map, it's a great map to choose to play. It's basically almost a free win for Iridium if he thought about what to do. It looks like Adsy is very much confused. He's now just chasing. Iridium going into the water. A little lower in health, but it's alright. And a drone for Iridium getting mass extractors in the middle. Adsy, all he's got to his name is nearly 3 PGens and a factory. His drone here is paused, not doing anything, while Iridium's base is now really beginning to look like a real base. Of course, if Iridium wins this game, he's going to be the U2000 champion once again for the 5th time, defending it for the 5th time. So he's likely going to get 2100 before he loses this, and then we might get a new one. Looks like a torpedo launcher for Iridium. ADSI is going to reclaim these mass extractors. The drone is going to abort that operation and help Iridium on this torpedo launcher. ADSI might get himself in quite a bit of trouble. Iridium, of course, did that torpedo launcher creep against Lame God, which worked quite well. And ADSI does not want to get too close, very long range on this unit. And if ADSI decides to reclaim it, that could be a mistake. Because, of course, Iridium is right away going to build another one. ADSI realizing that he probably should just run away. He's just going to run away. So the water is going to belong to Iridium. ADSI finally getting his second land factory, getting some hydros. His drone is picking up some mass extractors. Not too much expansion for Iridium. Surprised he's just got a single engineer. And now ADSI gets out of the water. Iridium with 2 torpedo launchers in the middle. And now the drone is going to grab these mass extractors once again. Of course, grabbing water, a big prize. 8 mass extractors. More land factories. 2 bases up on top for Iridium. He's grabbing his 3rd. So almost one base here for ADSI. He's getting a 2nd. So much better eco. Love to see that drone for ADSI grab all these bases on the bottom. It's really a competition who can expand better. Now I'll speed it up a little bit. But so far, after 6 minutes, no land battles whatsoever. Iridium now pauses ACU. Looks like he's getting the gun. ADSI getting a base of his own here on the right side. And now land units for Iridium now moving down. An air factory, multiple air factories for ADSI. Scout for Iridium. He's going to look and see what's going on in different positions. That's going to be the end for that drone here soon. So now Iridium has a good view of everywhere on the map. He can now begin to think about what to do. Of course, so much reclaim on this map. A small mistake, and you can really come back. Point defense is a good defensive position for Iridium. He's now beginning to push. Oh, I'm going to slow this down a little bit. This bomber for ADSI, basically just a scout, hasn't dropped any bombs. Another bomber coming in. Iridium or ADSI getting point defenses. Iridium, of course, is going to get that gun. It's going to be a big problem. And now tech to air for ADSI. I did not see this. This could be a very good move. Gunships are going to be excellent here. Don't see any tech to land, so. And actually, with tech to air, torpedo bombers could force Iridium out of the water, and then gunships can finish him off. See what these gunships can do. It'd be nice to see these gunships actually go and raid instead of just playing defense. But here it's also good. You see a lot of flak not coming out for Iridium. Iridium now with the gun, he's going to move out. Looks like he's going to defend the main base of ADSI right away. Love to see some torpedo bombers, at least to spot what's going on. Also kill those 8 mass extractors. These gunships going after hydros, they need to retreat. Now they're just getting hit by interceptors and flak. They need to run away. There's no reason for them to be there. They need to go attack this ACU. Meanwhile, ADSI just hanging out. He needs to push. He can do quite a bit of damage. The great thing about gunships is they're so mobile, and that was a great overcharge note for Iridium. That's going to be a problem, and ADSI needs to do something. The gunships can go different positions and start attacking random places on the map. And actually, overall, looks like almost a map control advantage for ADSI with 5 bases. He doesn't have the middle, but now point defenses for Iridium. Iridium going after power production, which means that there are 2 hydras here, so it's good. Iridium getting more units on the right side. And these gunships just flying into their death. Very unfortunate. A lot of eco put into that air factory, and those gunships have been quite disappointing. And now actually problems big problems for ADSI. Looks like he has lost the land battle. A Tech 2 engineer from this factory with Tech 2 point defense is what have really worked out. One good thing, though, for ADSI is that this is mostly flak. Of course, Iridium blows ACU here with already 3 kills. Nothing to counter it with except Tech 2 point defenses. One thing we do have to mention, though, even if ADSI loses his base, it's a huge loss. He needs to get power somewhere else in the build capacity. He still has significant amount of map control. He runs into a whole bunch of point defenses. This could be the end, actually, here. Oh, wow. ADSI runs into 2 Tech 1 point defenses. He's trying to run past him. And looks like he is just going to die. He did lose his main base. That was probably too demoralizing. I think ADSI really had a chance to come back in this one. It would have been an excellent game, but Iridium blows with that gun once again. So 2 games where I've seen him play on this map, he beat 2 very good players. Hopefully people enjoyed it, and Iridium blows defends his title for the 5th time. But this week, definitely look out for the U2000. Hopefully Napalm and Guile can cast those games. And of course, don't forget about U1700. We are going to get a challenge for the Tempest.